Hey, we are back with another Path of Exile video. This time I'm gonna be doing a Deadeye build for you guys. Now, I know how expensive this build can be, right? Deadeye is one of the most expensive builds in Path of Exile, especially because of the bow that you have to use. There are specific jewels, kill gems that can add up to your damage. In the end, you'll probably be ending up having a 500 divine or like 600 divine build, which is something that we are not looking into. Today, I'm going to be giving you a Deadeye build for, let's say, 2 to 3 divines, right? Max. 2 divines to 3 divines, not more than that, right? Maybe let's just say 4, okay? So I think anyone who has reached level 80 will have at least 4 to 5 divines easily. It drops, they have buffed the divine drops in the game, and you can easily get that. Now, the amount of damage that you will be dealing in this build is pretty insane. Like, it's over a million. With snipe, it's like even 2 million, alright? And you're just doing it with like 3 to 4 divines. You cannot just go ahead and proc everything into raw damage, right? That doesn't work. Because at high levels, enemies are armored, they have a lot of ailment thresholds. So this is where we need to go ahead and use our heads and use a build that will add up that damage, right? So without further ado, let's quickly hop on to the gear that I'm using, right? So firstly, this is my bow. This costed me around 3 divines, right? Now this is another variant. This is 1 divine. You can use this or you can use this. The reason why I'm using this is because it fires an additional arrow that helps me get some extra damage. So by default, I'm firing 2 arrows. So that extra arrow actually deals more damage. Next up, this is the quiver that you need, alright? This is a special quiver. It helps you mob control like crazy, right? And then you have the armor. This is what I'm using. You need to get a little bit of resistance going as well, okay? Make sure that you have an entire evasion armor. For your helmet, you would have to focus on evasion and energy shield, because we need some energy shield to stay alive, alright? You just cannot completely ignore defenses. Not because enemies are gonna touch you, it's because of those pools that they create. Those blast damage, the pools that they create. That's what is annoying in this game. Okay, these are the boots that I'm using. And then we have this glove, alright? All of these are like 20 exiles, 15 exiles each, right? Let's just say overall it's just let's say 1 divine more, okay? So this is the ring that I'm using. Now the cheat code to this build is this ring, okay? You might think that you might have more cold damage, physical damage, and it will really help you. It doesn't. This is what you actually need, okay? Enemies chilled by your hits can be shattered as though frozen. This is your cheat code, guys, right? At higher levels, if you're juicing up your T15 maps, enemies are gonna have a lot of ailment thresholds, right? And that is when you won't be able to freeze and shatter your enemies. So you need to go ahead and use this, guys, okay? This is worth 1 divine, alright? It has 36% increased cold damage. Now this is another variant that I have. This is worth 1 exalt. You can also use this instead of this, alright? So I am using a 1 divine variant. You can go ahead and use this. This is just for that extra 1 to 2k damage that I get on paper, and that's it. This, on the other hand, is gonna work the exact same way. Alright, you can also use a regular ring for boss fights, but I don't think you will need it. But yeah, you can use this kind of rings that that gives you increased cold damage, physical damage. You need a lot of mana regen as well. This build depends a lot on your mana, and you would eventually need a lot of mana regen. So you can use this if you are going short on mana regen, okay? Like, I have literally used a mana regeneration gem on my boot, okay? So you can actually understand how much mana you actually need in this build, okay? So for the belt, you can use this one. It's a little expensive, but if you can manage this one, it increases your damage all right? Or you can just simply go for regular belts as well. This is just to increase that little bit of damage, not by that much even, all right, but just a little bit. So next up is your skill gems, and this is what I have right now. I'm using Mirage Deadeye. Of course, this is a Deadeye build, so I have iceshot, obviously, and elemental armament to this one and this one as well. Then I have snipe, very good for boss fights. You freeze the boss, one shot and it's done, right? These are the support gems that I'm using. Then we have wind dancer, knockback, maim, blind. Make sure that your amulet has spirit, okay? If you don't have spirit on your amulet, you would probably not be able to use 3 spirit gems, okay? Next up, we have ice tip arrows, of course, very useful for mob control. This is what I'm using with it. Then we have barrage. If you want, you can use it. You also need to have freezing mark on bosses to freeze them early. This is what I'm using. Then we have tornado shot, very useful for mob control as well. This is what I'm using with it. Then we have ice shot, alright? This is what I'm using. Herald of Ice, obviously. Okay, so these are the skill gems. Now we go over to the passives. Deadeye, obviously, so your ascendancy will be like this. This one, this node here. Then you go over to this node. Pick the one on the right over here. And then you go with this node over here, okay? Now the passive tree looks something like this. You go straight up, you know, get a little bit elemental. Now the build is basically a critical build, okay? You need to have a lot of critical damage. So this is what you actually need. This node right here, all right? Then you can also increase your critical chance and critical damage with your jewels. These are pretty cheap ones, all right? 1 exalt each. Okay, and then you have a little bit of damage over here. Okay, evasion, movement speed, and skill speed. Alright, use the bow like this. Alright, use this one. Then you have critical over here. Go over to this side. Critical here again. Go over to this side. You have critical again. A lot of critical here. Some mana regeneration and cost efficiency over here, and some attack damage over here. Okay, so this is basically how the passive tree looks like. Okay, you can check it out. I would probably go ahead and get this one later on. Yeah, this is what my passive tree is looking like. Again, guys, this is just like a 3 to 4 divine build. Okay, you can check my critical chance on iceshot. Yeah, it's 26.9. That's like 27%. That's pretty decent, I guess. Right? So yeah, this is my build. So, you know, a pretty cheap iceshot Deadeye build. You can definitely go and use it. If you're a casual, you definitely have to check this build out. One of the fastest clearing builds I've ever used in Path of Exile, right? Really overpowered. Use it, enjoy it before they go ahead and nerf it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.